Summary: what happens in the movie? The story starts with us seeing Dracula before he was a vampire. He goes out to war and he wins the war, but his wife gets told that he was killed, so she kills herself, and he puts a sword into a cross, and God starts bleeding, and he becomes a vampire. Then we see young Jonathan Harker being told to go to Transylvania to locate Count Dracula to get the papers for some property signed. Then he gets imprisoned by Dracula, who then goes to London to locate Jonathan's wife, who is a reincarnation of Dracula's old wife who killed herself. Uh, Lucy gets killed, and Mina falls in love with Dracula. While Jonathan is in prison, she spends a lot of time with Dracula, but she ends up marrying Jonathan, and Dracula kills Lucy as revenge. Dracula bites Mina, and she starts turning into a vampire. They catch and kill Dracula, and Mina deals the killing blow. Yeah.
Dracula. Dracula is the main character and also the protagonist. He lives in a castle in Transylvania, and he has been a vampire for many years. It happened after his wife died. And as we can see on the picture, he looks very old, has gray hair, and is almost white, but he can also change shape into a younger person.
Jonathan Harker is the antagonist of the story, and he is engaged with Mina. He travels to Transylvania to get Dracula to sign some papers, and he is held captive and almost bitten, and he helps trying to kill Dracula.
And then we got Miss Mina Murray. She's fiance is Jonathan Harker, and she is an orphan, and is good friends with Lucy. She is a school mistress. In the movie, she falls in love with Dracula and becomes a vampire, and she is used to catch Dracula by his socks. Yeah.
Miss Lucy is a young, wealthy girl. She's best friends with Mina, and in the beginning of the movie, she can't really figure out who to marry, but she gets engaged to Arthur Holmwood. She becomes the first victim of Dracula, and she's very sex-minded.
And then we got Van Helsing, who's an unmarried old bachelor from Amsterdam, and he got contacted by Dr. Seward about Lucy, and he tries to cure Lucy and finds out that she's a vampire, and he helps to track down Dracula.
The setting, most of the main story is played in dark, scary parts and places. Like they use a lot of gothic elements in this movie to make scary, to make us more scary with fog and dirt and dark, and it kind of reflects who Dracula is.
The garden where Mina lives is very dark, and sometimes we see light, and sometimes it's just completely dark. It makes us very uncomfortable because it's like this abandoned place where it's haunted, and it looks very old and not very inviting.
And then we got the sexuality and gender.
And the men, they are very strong and brave and try to fight the supernatural. They risk their lives and are very noble and not afraid of the unknown. And they just keep on fighting until they kill Dracula.
And then we got the woman. They are very naive and they try to look classy and innocent, but inside they are very easy and sex-minded. Um, they are weak and not very independent, and they're trying to be seductive. Then we got the Christianity and symbols. Um, the symbol is the cross, and it's the acceptance of the sin and the right religion.
And the cross is also a sign of Christianity, which they in the movie use against the evil, in this case the vampires.
And we got the blood. There's a sign of virility and being reborn.
And the stake through Lucy's heart is a punishment for her being very easy.
And the Christian faith can take down vampires. Example, they're reading from the Bible in the story.
The themes, the first one is desires. Lucy desires men, and Mina desires Dracula.
And then we have a theme that's good versus evil, and the normal versus the supernatural.
And then we got the gender roles under Victorian times. Women, they are expected to be innocent, and not as Lucy and Mina. Yes.
And the last one is addiction. The vampires are addicted to blood.
Done.